We grew up believing a swipe of lipstick or a spritz of perfume was the safest kind of indulgence, a tiny luxury that could never hurt us. But new lab findings are shattering that illusion and replacing it with something far more sinister. Traces of lead and benzene, two of the most feared toxins on Earth, are turning our most intimate beauty products into potential health hazards. LIDAR, for which doctors warn no level is safe, is linked to neurological decline, memory loss, and developmental harm. Benzene, classified as a known human carcinogen, is associated with leukemia and other deadly blood disorders. And now regulatory alerts and lawsuits reveal that several household name lipsticks and perfumes, the very ones lining millions of bathroom shelves, are under urgent recall after dangerous contamination was detected. This isn't just about makeup, it's about trust, and how even the products closest to our bodies can betray us when profit trumps safety. This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And before you panic, stay with me, because by the end, you'll not only know which products are too dangerous to touch, but also discover the safer alternatives that still exist amid this unsettling reality. Number 1, Dior. It's almost poetic how a brand that built its empire on the image of Parisian elegance now finds itself choking on the very poison it was supposed to rise above. Dior, the name that once conjured visions of silk gloves and haute couture runways, is now tangled in accusations that its celebrated Attic lipstick line may be delivering more than just a splash of glamour. In a federal class action lawsuit, LVMH and Dior were accused of manufacturing and distributing millions of lipsticks containing lead, including the infamous positive red. According to Campaign for Safe Cosmetics, that very shade contained about 0.21 parts per million of lead, double the amount the FDA once tolerated in candy. Imagine that, a substance you swipe on your lips every morning, carrying more lead than something you'd give a child to eat. And while Dior hasn't faced a mandatory recall yet, the fact that this level of contamination exists at all raises a brutal question. How much poison is considered acceptable when it's disguised as luxury? The numbers get uglier the deeper you look. A study by the Environmental Working Group randomly tested 33 red lipsticks from major brands and found that 20 of them, 61%, contained lead. Some levels were alarmingly high, even by candy standards. The FDA, while trying to calm nerves, still advises that lead levels in lipstick should not exceed 10 ppm. Yet here we are, with a Dior product that doubles the tolerance for something meant to be ingested. Sure, officials say they've seen no clear evidence of lead poisoning from lipstick use, but isn't that like saying cigarettes are fine because no one's keeled over mid-puff yet? For working-class Americans, already burdened with rising healthcare costs, that's not reassurance. That's Russian roulette in a shiny silver tube. But toxins aren't Dior's only skeletons. The brand's history is a graveyard of scandals that reveal a troubling corporate culture beneath the velvet curtain. In 2011, Dior's then creative director, John Galliano, was caught on video praising Hitler and spewing racist and anti-Semitic slurs. The fallout was swift and severe, a global media storm that shattered the brand's polished facade. Then in 2024, Dior's Italian manufacturing branch, manufactures Dior SRL, was placed under special judicial administration after authorities discovered it had subcontracted work to Chinese-run factories, employing undocumented and exploited laborers, including at least 2 illegal migrants and 7 workers without proper papers. Dior eventually agreed to pay €2 million in victim compensation and pledged to reform its supply chain oversight to end the investigation. But the damage was done. The Maison of refinement was now linked to sweatshops and exploitation. This isn't just about one lipstick shade or one disgraced designer. It's about a pattern. A brand that markets itself as the pinnacle of sophistication while allegedly distributing products with toxic metals and relying on unethical labor practices is selling more than makeup. It's selling an illusion. For older Americans, many of whom grew up trusting that luxury meant safe and ethical, that illusion is dangerous. Because if Dior is willing to cut corners on safety and morality, what does that say about the rest of the industry? And here's the cruelest irony. Dior has yet to issue any mandatory recall, and the FDA admits it has no data showing the lead levels in these lipsticks cause outright poisoning. But lead is a cumulative toxin. It builds up silently over time, like rust in an old water pipe. By the time the damage shows, it's too late. For those on fixed incomes or tight budgets, that slow drip of risk isn't just unacceptable, it's terrifying. The lipstick meant to make you feel alive could, in theory, be leaching poison into your body one swipe at a time. So if you're standing in the makeup aisle weighing your options, remember that glamour shouldn't come with a toxic disclaimer. Consider brands that have prioritized transparency and safer formulations, like Ilia, Bite Beauty, or Lawless. Companies working to keep heavy metals out of your daily routine. Because no matter how iconic a logo is, it's not worth gambling your health for a swipe of red. And if even Dior, the crown jewel of haute couture, can fall from grace this hard, what other luxury secrets might still be hiding in plain sight? Number 2, Maybelline. For decades, Maybelline has been the smiling face of American drugstore beauty. The easy choice that promised affordability and trust. The brand millions of working women tossed into their carts without a second thought. But behind that familiar pink and black packaging, an unsettling truth has begun to leak out. One that should make anyone over 50 stop mid-swipe and wonder, what exactly are we putting on our lips? A study published by the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics and later expanded by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration revealed that Maybelline's Color Sensational lipstick in the shade Pink Petal contained about 7.19 parts per million of lead. To put that in perspective, the average across roughly 400 tested lipsticks was only about 1.11 ppm. That means the product trusted by millions contained more than 6 times the average amount of a neurotoxin the CDC says has no safe level of exposure. Even more disturbing, the same report concluded that Maybelline, now owned by L'Oreal, was among the worst offenders, with levels over 275 times higher than the cleanest samples in the study. It's the kind of number that makes you wonder if that drugstore bargain is really a bargain at all, or if it's just a cheaper way to slowly poison yourself. Lead is not just another scary-sounding word on a lab report. It is a heavy metal that accumulates silently in the body, especially dangerous for pregnant women and developing children. It doesn't leave once it enters. It builds like rust creeping through old plumbing. Even the FDA, while trying to downplay the concern, admits that most cosmetics contain less than 10 ppm and that levels below that threshold shouldn't pose measurable health risks. But let's not forget the fine print. Shouldn't is not won't. And in a world where medical bills can crush a retiree faster than a missed Social Security check, betting your health on a shouldn't is playing roulette with your future. The troubling part? Despite the alarming numbers, there has never been a mandatory recall of Maybelline lipsticks due to lead. Instead, the company has quietly carried on, relying on regulatory language and public complacency to keep shelves stocked. And the controversies don't stop at lead. In 2012, Maybelline was hit with a class action lawsuit over its Superstay 24HR line, accused of false advertising after consumers complained that the product failed to last anywhere near 24 hours. It's a pattern that reveals something deeper than just sloppy quality control. It exposes a business model built on stretching the truth and assuming that the people buying these products won't ask too many questions. For older, working-class Americans, the backbone of the country and the group most often told to just trust the label, this betrayal cuts deep. The whole appeal of a brand like Maybelline is that it's supposed to be the safe choice, the one that doesn't require a magnifying glass to read the ingredients or a lawyer to understand the risks. And yet here we are, confronted with evidence that the lipstick sold as harmless drugstore beauty might carry more lead than you'd ever knowingly allow near your grandchild's mouth. Doctors have warned us repeatedly there is no safe level of lead. Less is not the same as none. And even if exposure doesn't cause an immediate crisis, cumulative damage over years, memory loss, kidney issues, neurological decline, can turn a small daily habit into a lifelong health burden. It's worth noting that Maybelline has not confirmed how many batches tested at high levels. nor have they disclosed whether formulas have changed since these reports first surfaced. That opacity is precisely why consumer advocates warn people to treat these products with caution. The days of blind trust in household brands are over. Now each tube deserves scrutiny. If you're still reaching for Maybelline out of habit, it may be time to reconsider. Look for brands that publish independent testing results and make heavy metal safety a core part of their mission. Options like Beauty Counter, 100% pure, and W3LL People have committed to tighter ingredient standards and third-party verification. A crucial difference in an industry that too often hides behind loopholes and vague assurances. Because when even a brand as safe and everyday as Maybelline turns up with lead levels like these, the message is clear. Cheap lipstick isn't cheap if it costs you your health. Number 3. La Roche-Posay. What if the very cream you trust to clear your skin was secretly lacing your bloodstream with a chemical linked to cancer? That isn't a dystopian plotline from a late-night thriller. It's the real headline Americans woke up to in March of 2025. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced that La Roche-Posay's Effaclar Duo dual-action acne treatment, a product so common it's probably sitting in someone's bathroom right now, tested positive for benzene, a known human carcinogen tied to leukemia and other deadly blood disorders. A specific batch, MX46W, due to expire in April 2025, was confirmed contaminated, prompting a nationwide Class 2 recall. That's bureaucratic speak for, it might mess you up, but probably won't kill you right away. A phrase that feels more like Russian roulette than consumer safety. And here's the kicker. This wasn't a freak accident. Scientists at independent lab Valisher warned that benzoyl peroxide, the main ingredient in Effaclar Duo, can decompose into benzene when exposed to heat or light. In other words, that innocent-looking tube on your shelf could transform into a silent time bomb every time the temperature rises. Valisher's tests weren't just concerning, they were downright terrifying. Some samples showed benzene levels as high as 175 parts per million, nearly 100 times the FDA's so-called safe limit of 2 ppm. That's like being told 1 glass of water a day is fine, then discovering your tap is spitting out an oil slick. And while the FDA insisted the cancer risk was low, that's cold comfort for working-class Americans already drowning in medical bills and terrified of one diagnosis wiping out their life savings. Should we really accept even a low chance of poisoning ourselves with a product sold as skincare? Or is this another case of a billion-dollar industry betting that most of us won't read past the fine print? The deeper you dig, the uglier the story gets. L'Oréal, La Roche-Posay's parent company, has a rap sheet long enough to make a Wall Street banker blush. In 2022, it was sued for slapping the word Paris on products that weren't made anywhere near France. A little geographical sleight of hand that let them jack up prices and cash in on the myth of French superiority. Meanwhile, class action lawsuits accuse the company of peddling products with benzene levels hundreds of times above legal limits. And not just slightly above, but over 100 ppm after only 10 days of storage. That's not a slip-up. That's a system built to profit from ignorance. It's as if they're saying, sure, it might be poison, but at least it's fancy poison. And corporate arrogance doesn't stop at misleading labels or toxic ingredients. L'Oréal has faced accusations of firing employees for being too old to represent the brand's image, as if age itself were a contaminant. They've stayed suspiciously quiet about their supply chain too, dodging questions about where their ingredients come from and how the people making them are treated. If a company is willing to bend the truth about geography and discriminate against its own workforce, what makes anyone believe it will be honest about the chemicals seeping into your skin? Most disturbing of all is what we don't know. L'Oréal hasn't disclosed how many bottles were recalled or how many people might have been exposed to benzene. That silence isn't just unsettling, it's dangerous. Because for millions of Americans living on fixed incomes, a bottle of acne cream shouldn't come with the same risk profile as a pack of cigarettes. And yet, that's the twisted reality we face when corporations treat public health like a rounding error. So where does that leave you? Staring down your medicine cabinet like it's a suspect lineup. But don't despair. Safer choices exist if you know where to look. Brands like Paula's Choice or The Ordinary have built reputations on ingredient transparency, and formulas that don't turn toxic under your bathroom light. They're proof that skincare doesn't have to be a gamble. Because at the end of the day, your health shouldn't hinge on whether a multinational giant decides honesty is profitable this quarter. And if a tube of acne cream can betray you this easily, maybe it's time we all asked, what else is hiding in plain sight? Number 4. Revlon. For a brand that once defined American beauty, gracing drugstore aisles from New York to New Delhi, Revlon has built its legacy on the promise of accessibility and trust. Yet peel back the glossy red veneer, and what you find is far less flattering. A history marred by questions about heavy metal contamination, misleading claims, and a crumbling corporate backbone that should make any consumer pause before swiping on that familiar shade. The most unsettling chapter in this story is the recurring concern over lead, the silent toxin that has haunted the lipstick industry for decades. Back in 2007, the nonprofit Campaign for Safe Cosmetics published a report titled A Poison Kiss, revealing that 61% of 33 red lipsticks tested in the US contained detectable levels of lead. Among the brands surveyed was Revlon, a name consumers had long associated with everyday safety. One of the Revlon lipsticks in the study was noted to contain no detectable lead and sold for $7.49. But that detail, rather than absolving the brand, raised even more troubling questions. If Revlon needs to prove that this lipstick has no lead, what about the rest? And why is a company of its size even appearing in a heavy metal investigation in the first place? The FDA later issued draft guidance recommending that lead-in lipstick and other topical cosmetics not exceed 10 parts per million. While many products today fall below that limit, the fact remains that lead, even in trace amounts, accumulates in the body and carries no known safe level. It's a little like finding just a bit of asbestos in your attic. Technically, it's below the danger threshold. But would you really want it there? What's more, Environmental Working Group has repeatedly listed Revlon among brands whose products were part of heavy metal screenings, underscoring the need for ongoing vigilance. Even if no Revlon lipstick has ever been recalled by regulators for excessive lead, its very presence in these reports has eroded consumer trust and highlighted a grim reality. That in the cosmetics industry, safety isn't guaranteed, it's negotiated. And lead isn't the only shadow hanging over Revlon's reputation. In August of 2025, the company was hit with a class action lawsuit in New York over its Almay brand, accused of falsely advertising products as hypoallergenic. Consumers reported skin irritation, eye inflammation, and allergic reactions. Not exactly what you'd expect from a product marketed for sensitive skin. This wasn't about a single defective batch. It pointed to a deeper issue of lax oversight and inflated promises. Revlon, like many legacy brands, seems to have grown too comfortable in its status, assuming the trust it earned decades ago could shield it from scrutiny today. But the modern consumer, older, wiser, and weary of corporate half-truths, is no longer so forgiving. Financial turmoil has only compounded these doubts. In June of 2022, Revlon filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, citing crushing debt, fierce competition, and supply chain breakdowns. While bankruptcy itself doesn't prove a product is unsafe, it does raise uncomfortable questions about whether a company struggling to keep its lights on is cutting corners elsewhere, perhaps in sourcing, testing, or ingredient quality. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. When a brand is fighting for survival, consumers are often the first line of compromise. This accumulation of red flags turns Revlon into more than just another cosmetics brand with a few blemishes. It's a cautionary tale about how quickly trusted can turn into questionable. Even without a smoking gun of a lead-induced recall, the mere fact that Revlon shows up in heavy metal reports should be enough to make anyone reconsider what they're putting on their lips. And the Almay lawsuit is a stark reminder that marketing buzzwords like hypoallergenic often mean far less in practice than they do on the packaging. For older Americans, many of whom grew up watching Revlon commercials on black and white TV sets, this is a bitter pill to swallow. It's proof that loyalty alone is not protection, that a brand's golden past does not guarantee a safe present. If you're still buying Revlon lipsticks, check the lot numbers and expiration dates carefully. Source them from reputable retailers, and whenever possible, look for independent lab reports verifying heavy metal content. Better yet, consider switching to brands that make safety and transparency their top priorities, like Rituel de Fil, Care Vice, or Vapor Organic Beauty, which have embraced stricter ingredient standards and third-party testing. Because in a world where even icons like Revlon can stumble, the only real beauty worth paying for is the kind that doesn't come with a toxic catch. Number 5. Burt's Bees. For years, Burt's Bees has wrapped itself in the comforting glow of nature. Beeswax balms, botanical oils, and a sunny promise that what touches your lips is as wholesome as a backyard garden. It's the kind of brand older Americans want to believe in. Simple, pure, and free from the corporate toxins that seem to infect everything else. But behind that pastoral image of 100% natural lies a story that feels more like a cautionary tale than a celebration of clean beauty. Independent reports have found that Burt's Bees lipsticks and balms contain traces of lead. Yes, even this so-called natural darling isn't immune. In an analysis titled "Which Lipstick Brands Contain Lead?" by The Filtery, Burt's Bees appeared on the list of brands where lead was detected. While exact concentrations weren't always disclosed, the very presence of lead in a brand built on purity is like finding rust in your organic well water. It may be just a trace, but it changes everything you thought you knew. Even Burt's Bees itself admitted, in filings related to California's Proposition 65 regulations, that lead can enter its products as a contaminant from mineral pigments. Translation: even their natural origin formulas aren't as untouched as the marketing suggests. This reality has left consumers asking uncomfortable questions. If even a brand waving the green flag can't guarantee freedom from heavy metals, what can we trust? Burt's Bees insists that its products adhere to safety standards, but regulators and watchdog groups continue to flag concerns, and that should make anyone wary, especially those already dealing with health vulnerabilities. Lead doesn't need to be present in large amounts to do damage. It accumulates over time, a slow saboteur linked to neurological problems, cognitive decline, and developmental issues. For older Americans who are already battling aging immune systems and limited healthcare options, even trace exposure isn't something to brush aside, and the cracks in Burt's Bees' image go far beyond lead. On September 1, 2022, a California federal judge allowed a class action lawsuit against the company to move forward. Plaintiff Perry Bruno alleged that products labeled 100% natural contained hydrogenated oils, a substance that, by definition, is chemically altered and therefore anything but natural. The irony is as sharp as it is infuriating. A brand selling itself as the antidote to synthetic chemicals, allegedly leaning on synthetic processes. Then came another blow that same year. A separate lawsuit accusing Burt's Bees and parent company, the Clorox Company, of selling lip products and mascaras containing PFS, the so-called forever chemicals, notorious for lingering in the body and the environment. These toxic compounds were allegedly undisclosed, even as the company plastered phrases like "kind to skin and planet" across its marketing. By 2021, the accusations had spilled into other product lines too. Burt's Bees was called out for marketing pet care items as 99.7% natural, despite containing numerous synthetic ingredients. While these cases may seem unrelated to lipstick, they reveal a larger pattern. A company eager to bask in the glow of natural branding, even when the facts don't fully align. And that gap between promise and reality is precisely where consumer trust erodes, especially among older buyers who often pay extra for products marketed as clean, safe, and transparent. Burt's Bees argues that its formulas are derived from natural sources and that trace contaminants are unavoidable, but that's cold comfort for anyone who took the 100% natural label at face value. In the cosmetics industry, where natural often becomes a marketing loophole rather than a scientific guarantee, words can hide more than they reveal. And PFAS, which don't break down, build up in the bloodstream, and have been linked to cancer and immune disruption, represent a betrayal far more sinister than just sloppy labeling. For retirees and low-income Americans already facing mounting healthcare costs, The idea that their clean lip balm might be quietly seeding long-term health problems isn't just disappointing, it's terrifying. So where does that leave consumers who want truly safer alternatives? It means digging deeper, questioning every green label, and turning toward brands with documented transparency and third-party testing. Options like Axiology, Hene Organics, and OG have made clear commitments to ingredient purity without hiding behind vague marketing language. Because when even Burt's Bees, the poster child of natural beauty, can be caught with lead traces and forever chemicals lurking behind a floral label, it's a reminder that in today's cosmetics world, trust must be earned, not assumed. The truth hiding in your makeup bag is darker than you think. Subscribe now and never miss what's really inside.
Thank you for watching today's video all the way through. If you found the content helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to stay updated to our latest daily videos. Now feel free to check out other featured videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.